We have Economics Paper 1, January 2020. Question 1 said, which one of the following would cause a movement along the demand curve in the market for rice? Movement along the demand curve would be a pricing factor. An increase in global population, that is non-price factor, will shift demand. Real income will shift demand. Price of noodles, that's a substitute. No, that's substitute probably to rice. It will shift demand. The price of rice, a decrease in price of rice. So the answer is D. Clear? Is it clear, please?
Yes.
Question 2. Which one of the following is an advantage of a free market economy? In a free market economy, the profit motives give firms the incentive to be more efficient. Because it's a free market, their aim is always to make profit. So the profit incentive is the reason why they have to be more efficient. Because if they are more efficient, it reduces their cost of production and they'll be able to make more profit. Clear? So it's not about public goods, not any of this. So the answer is A. Question 3. Which one of the following is an example of a market failure? There's market failure if it's a government, no. There's no market failure with government. Lower prices create an incentive to switch, no. Unintended consequences, that's government failure. So the answer is B. Question 3 is B. Doctors prescribe too many medicines because the cost is covered by health insurance. Is it clear? Then the next one, question 4. It said, diagram shows the market for new house construction, the cost and the benefits. Based on this graph, the first thing you have to check through this graph is that the marginal social cost exceeds the marginal private cost. So if the marginal social cost exceeds the marginal private cost, that is a welfare loss. So the welfare loss part, the welfare loss here is between WUV. So there's a welfare loss between UV. You get it?
Yes.
So the answer here is a welfare loss, which is shown as WUV. That's a welfare loss. Clear? As soon as whenever your marginal social cost exceeds your marginal private cost, is a welfare loss. Clear?
Yes.
So the answer for question 4 is D. Go to question 5. Are you there? Yeah, so the table shows the percentage of electricity generated by different sources for Portugal in 2016. The table shows the percentage, okay? So the question says, which one of the following can be deduced from the table? Portugal generated, based on this graph, it shows that we have more renewable for 6, 22, so that's 6 plus 22, 28, 30, hydro 54. So 54 is more than 100%. So it simply means that Portugal generated most of its electricity from non-renewable resources. Is it clear?
Renewable.
From renewable, yes, sorry. So it's C. Clear? Question 6. The table shows the estimated price elasticity of demand for air travel. Short haul is air travel within the same continent and long haul is air travel to a different continent. So we have it. They said, which one of the following can be deduced from the table? When you look at the elasticity of demand here, the first one is elastic, the second one is inelastic, the third one is elastic, the fourth one is elastic. So long haul business travelers, the PED is inelastic. So which simply means the first option here, they said an increase in the price of flights for long haul business travelers will increase total revenue for airlines because it is price inelastic, which simply means irrespective of the change in price, irrespective of the price, the quantity demanded would not change. That means a rise in price will not significantly change the quantity demanded. So if the demand for a product is priced inelastic, irrespective of the price, consumers will still buy. And because consumers are going to continue to buy, the revenue would increase for firms. So the answer is A. Clear? Okay. Question 7. They said the production they said in 2000 the population of Qatar was 592,297. By 2018 the population had increased to 2,694,849. Most of this growth was caused by immigration. Immigration means the movement of people into the economy, right? So they said, draw a diagram to illustrate the impact of this change in Qatar's population on its production possibility frontier. So first, what is production possibility frontier? It's a graph that shows the combination of goods that can be produced if all resources are fully utilized. So here we're going to talk about the PPF. So when you look at the population, the population of Qatar has increased, and they said it's due to large numbers of immigration, right? So those that are the immigrants are economic immigrants. They would have gone to Qatar because they need a job. So because they are going to Qatar, because they are economic immigrants, it means they will be working in Qatar. That means the supply of labor would increase in Qatar. And that will bring about increase in productivity. And increase in productivity will increase the productive potential of Qatar, shifting the PPF outward from PPF1 to PPF2. This is the productive possibility front here. Clear? Is PPF clear, please?
Yes.
Good. The next one. Market bubble, question 7.
Sorry, I need to go to the toilet.
Okay. Pause. It said, a report identified that Hong Kong is the city with the highest risk of experiencing the housing market bubble. House prices in Hong Kong increased by 10% per year between 2012 and 2018. With regards to the Hong Kong housing market, explain what is meant by market bubble. The market bubble is created through speculation, and the house price might have increased due to increasing demand by economic actors who want to buy houses now to make profit in the future dates. So it will get to a stage where demand declines, which makes firms in the housing sector in Hong Kong want to sell at the same time. This will bring about a bubble burst. Clear? Question 9. Are you there?
Yes.
In 2017, the government of the Philippines imposed a 50% tax on the import of cars with price above $74,000. Since then, the government has seized small good cars, for example, in July 2018, and the story is there. Explain why this tax on imported cars is an example of government failure. So tax on importation is called tariffs. That's one. So decision made by the Philippine government can be considered as government intervention. So government failure occurs when government intervention brings about welfare loss rather than welfare gain. These are the points. So examples of government failure are as follows: 1, unintended consequences, high cost of administration, a black market. That's also part of government failure. So with reference to the case study, the government will impose 50% tax on the importation of cars with a price above $74,000. This brings about a high cost of production for importers. As a result, we try to bypass government to avoid paying such tax. As it might be difficult for importers to pass a higher price to consumers. This means smuggling will increase, which reduces the monitoring of government officials on imported cars, and the loss of government revenue through smuggled cars. Clear? We go to question 10. So we go to question 10, right? Okay. So the table shows the gross weekly income of workers in the UK and the numbers of visits abroad by UK citizens. So we are supposed to calculate the income elasticity. And for income elasticity is the degree of responsiveness between the quantity demanded of a product as a result of a change in the level of income. So it is YED equals percentage change in quantity demanded over percentage change in the level of income. So the answer is 1.3. I think that is clear. So we go to question 11, right? Right? It said 11, yes. In September 2018, you check it afterwards anyway. The global price for wheat decreased by 3%. This was caused by an increase in supply from the USA. Explain the likely impact of this fall in price on consumer surplus in the market for wheat. Illustrate your answer with a diagram. When talk about consumer surplus, is the difference between the amount consumers are willing to pay and the amount they actually pay, which is the market price. So, a fall in price will bring about a downward or rightward shift in the supply curve from S to S1, as price would have reduced from PE to P1. So the consumer surplus will increase from A to B. Clear? So an increase in supply will shift the supply curve downward to right from S to S1, which in turn reduces the price from PE to P1. This will increase consumer surplus from A to B. I think it's clear. So go to question 12. Are you there?
Sir.
It said, define the term substitute. When we talk about substitutes, These are goods that consumers can switch to buy as they serve almost the same purpose. So question 12, right? So for consumer supply, they said define the term substitute. I go substitute are goods that consumers can switch to buy as they serve almost the same purpose. That means they can replace each other. That's substitute goods. B. Explain what is meant by the term inelastic supply. When I talk about inelastic supply, it means that there is no significant change in the quantity supplied as a result of a change in price. And the graph, it's less than 1. So that's from 0.1 to 0.9. So that's inelastic. And the graph is like this. That's the graph. Inelastic supply. Clear? We go to question 12C. They said, analyze why the price of vanilla increased significantly between 2014 to 2018. In 2017, the price of vanilla increased significantly between 2014 and 18 because in 2017, there's a cyclone in Madagascar which destroyed a large quantity of the vanilla crop, which bring about a fall in the quantity supplied and a rise in the quantity demanded. And that will bring about a rise in price. So the supply shifted leftward from S to S1. The quantity demanded shifted rightward from D to D1, and the price increased from P to P1. Clear? So there's a graph for that. We go to question 12C. Are you there? So with reference to extra C, we have the extra there. Examine 2 microeconomic effects of Finland's decision to remove sugar tax. Sugar tax can be considered as a specific tax because it's sugar specific tax. But specific tax is also an indirect tax. An indirect tax is a tax on expenditure. These are what you have to write. Good? So a cut in sugar tax will reduce the cost of production for firms that produces sugar. This will bring about lower prices. Consumers will be able to buy more of sugar. This in turn increases the quantity demanded for sugar. Sugar tax is on sweets, chocolate, ice cream, and fizzy drinks. Households will have their income increasing as they will spend less on items such as sugar, ice cream, and the rest. So it can be graphically represented as this. So there's going to be a cut in tax will shift the supply curve from S tax to S1. So you can put S tax to S1. So that will contract the quantity, that will expand the quantity demanded because price will increase. So consumption would increase. But what is the problem about this? Because they said microeconomic effects. So, however, this cut in tax will affect the revenue and profits made by biscuit and cake manufacturers because they were against it. They believe things are not fair on their own side. Also, an increase in the consumption of sugar may bring about external cost as it could lead to obesity and cancer. And lastly, there's loss of government revenue, which is around 109 million euros. So that's question 12C. D. Now we go to E. Said, discuss reason why the quantity of education is below the social optimum level. If below social optimum level, that means it's not being maximized. So that means the society is not, the external benefit is not that much. That is what it means. So external benefit is the benefit to the third party, which means social benefit is exceeding the marginal private benefits. You get it? So the diagram above shows the external benefit of marginal social benefit, which exceeds marginal private benefits. So the price of social optimum level, marginal equilibrium, quantity equilibrium, quantity social optimum level. So this is the graph. Here, the marginal private cost equals to marginal social cost, which is the demand. Demand equals to supply. That's the point there. But here, when we talk about external benefit, when there is external benefit, it simply means marginal social benefit exceeds marginal private benefit. This is external. Do you get it now? Mm-hmm. If it is other way around, which means marginal social cost exceeds marginal private cost, that is welfare loss. This is welfare gain because this exceeds this. Do you get that? So what are the reasons why there's no the quantity of education is below social optimal level? 1, consumers may consider their private costs and private benefit without thinking about social benefits. 2, consumers may undervalue the benefit of education in the long term. And 3, consumers may ignore impact to third party in terms of education. Is it clear? So that's question 12, right?
Yeah.
So go to question 13. Are you there?
Yes.
Question 13. They said, Adam Smith identified. Well, let me just go back to the case study. Okay. Adam Smith identified that if workers completed every stage of production individually, they would each produce 10 to 20 pins per day. The application of the division of labor in a pin factory enabled 10 workers to produce 48,000 pins per day. Evaluate the advantage of the division of labor in organizing production. First, you have to define division of labor, which is the breaking down of production process into different stages, and each stage can be performed by different people. That is what division of labor is. So what are the advantages of division of labor? First, I wrote. Adam Smith figured out that workers completed every stage in production of production. Each individual will be able to produce two. If each individual had to complete the stage of production, they will only produce 10 to 20 pins per day. But the application of division of labor used by Adam Smith means 10 workers will be able to produce 48,000 pins per day. So you have to find labor productivity there, which is output divided by input. So each worker will need to know how many each worker will be able to produce. So 48,000 divided by 10 means 4,800 will be produced by each worker, which is far more than 10 to 20 that will be produced each day if an individual has to complete the whole stage of production. So these are the points. So each worker will be able to produce 4,800 pins per day. Do you get that?
Yes.
With division of labor, time is saved in the production process. It saves time. Division of labor reduces the cost of production as workers might be paid the same amount of money and they have to carry out all the same job. These are benefits of division of labor. Division of labor leads to specialization, and which means the firm may as well purchase special machines for specific tasks, which may in turn increase efficiency and competitiveness. Mm-hmm. With specialization, it means you are giving individuals might be able to do well in what they know how to do. Division of labor allows workers to focus more on the job, and this may bring about expertise, which will further reduce cost. With division of labor, firms might not have to train all workers for all stages of production. That means they can pinpoint which stage needs to be trained on. Mm-hmm. And that reduces cost of training. However, division of labor may lead to boredom due to repetitive work. You have to continue to do the same thing every now and then. Repetition, that would be
so they have to do rotation.
No. Yeah, not to have boredom, then you have to start thinking about job rotation. But here, we're talking about the consequence of division of labor, which is boredom, the first one. 2, there is interdependence of workers in terms of completing tasks. So each stage has to be completed before the next stage. There's interdependence. So a lackadaisical attitude of a stage might bring about halt in another stage. So there's interdependence. Okay. And that makes them to be vulnerable. And also there's possibility that workers, because they are specialists, they may request for better pay. And if you are not paying them, they find your rivals who will be able to pay them. Mm-hmm. So you might be losing workers as a result of that. And when workers are being replaced with machines, that could reduce their morale and might be demotivated. So that ends division of labor and the old paper for January 2020.